Okay. Any key lessons, any knowledge about travel or advice about travel for a professional in this industry?
Well, I mean, once again, it's changed.
Yeah.
Back then,
Can't do it now.
right? Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I wasn't even talking about that. Like, it's harder and harder to find a place to work over there now, and they don't like for Italy. I literally was illegal the whole time I was there. I worked in a beautiful little restaurant, and the cool thing about there is that you really do learn. You do have a much, like you were talking about with food culture in America, you have a much better respect for food when you go learn it in Europe because they've already been through all this shit and they just want to have good food.
What do you mean shit?
Like they already went through the war, and after the war when they're eating out of cans, and it's like they've gotten back to their roots of their history is just older.
Yeah.
Like America's still trying to figure itself out.
Yeah.
We're still like a fucking adolescent.
Mm-hmm.
We're going through puberty.
Exactly.
Whereas like with Italy and their food culture and Germany and their food culture. I mean, Germany, God, man, like we everything was from a market because there wasn't any other option, and all the animals were from the local neighborhood. There was a local butcher that made all of our, if we didn't make it in-house because we did a lot of our own butchering, my chef was a big hunter, and they could sell the wild game. Once again, like the over-lawyering of America where we can't serve any wild game because someone might get sick when it's like, dude, like why can't we go hunt all these feral hogs that are overpopulating? But there's like all these laws against it. I mean, they've been trying to fix it to where we can trap and serve feral hogs in the restaurants, but it has never caught on.
Yeah.
But also because Americans don't want that gamey meat. They'll eat it if they shoot it themselves, but they won't eat it if we serve it.
Yeah.
But so back to Germany. So he and his friends would shoot all of the wild game, and then they would sell it to the restaurant. I think that's how they would pay for their hunting leases.
Okay.
And so we had a full butcher shop. We could take everything off the hoof. So everything came in. There was a separate butcher area that was separate from the main kitchen. There was a hanging closet that let them hang for a few days and soften up. Then we'd skin them, break them down, do it all in house. Make all of our own patés and terrines. Make all of our own sausages. He also had his own cheese making. I mean, he was a special case.
Yeah. Is this the same place that you sent?
I've sent about 20, 30 people there.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that
Trey.
Thank you very much. Trey and Blake both went there.
Both went. I just had one cook come back right before the COVID nonsense, and I have one cook over there who's now stuck there and loving it. He just bought an apartment. He's like, I'm not leaving Europe.
Yeah, and these are the chefs over at Saint Germain that we had the opportunity to talk to earlier in the week, if you guys are curious. But, I mean, were your biggest lessons – I mean, I know you must have learned so much about food, but do you think that the lessons around food, or was it the cultural lessons that made a bigger influence on you?
I mean, I don't know. Like, my chef in Italy was nuts. I mean, literally, he and his wife would just yell at each other all day long, and then I'd be like, why are y'all angry? And they'd be like, we're not angry.
Yeah, but then they would also invite you in to have dinner at their table, right? Which, like, how many of the people that work in your – and this isn't putting judgment on you, it's just American culture. Like, how many of your chefs come into your house and eat it?
Right.
Like, maybe a few. I don't know. But across the boards at all restaurants, probably not that many.
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the thing is, like, there was two cooks. There was only two of us, and we would. I mean, at night for lunch, we would serve hundreds of people with two cooks. It was just pasta, and salads, and that's all it was, and baked fish sometimes. But dinner time at that restaurant was no menu, just tasting, like 10-course tasting menu, and it was just like simple things.
Gotcha.
Like fried calamari but fried in olive oil kind of thing, and then like really fresh pastas and salt baked fish, and so it was. And we get all of our pasta from a local bakery. I learned a lot about their culture. I don't know if Marco Ballo was the chef's name. I don't know if he taught me anything as like a mentor.
Okay.
I mean, I guess like as a personal growth mentor, like I was there for a good amount of time, but it was all more about just learning his very simplistic approach to food.
Okay.
I mean, he was still a good guy. Like, I had to ride around on the back of his scooter a lot with me, like, holding onto him, which was weird. But that's in Italy, that's normal.
Yeah.
But, he helped me get a cell phone so I could call home. And, like, I lived above their tool shed. They didn't pay me. I think I left town. I left and got a day off, like, a handful of times. And each time I would get a day off, they'd give me, like, a couple of euro to go spend. But other than that, I worked for free.
Yeah. So what was the biggest impression this experience made on you that you think has influenced you to this day? If you had to narrow it down.
proper way to make pasta.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was. It was just, and still I forget about some of the things I learned. Like, I don't ever salt bake fish, and we salt bake fish all day there.
Yeah.
Our biggest thing was like either salt baking or roasting fish, and I never do that, which is
Okay.
like, but also like I can't even do the pasta they did there. You know, there we had these big, beautiful gambori, the big, beautiful like ruby red shrimp, gambero rosso, and you'd literally just simmer them in a pan with fresh tomatoes, like a little bit of house-made tomato sauce, a little bit of chilies, olive oil, and you'd simmer them in there, heads on and everything, and then you just crush the head, shell on, and then you throw the pasta in there and toss the pasta, and then while the chef emulsified extra virgin olive oil into it, and that was it, and you just served it like that, and like Italians don't care, but like I tried doing that here in America, and they're like, why the fuck is the head on my shrimp? And like, because that's where the flavor is, but Americans can't be.
Yeah.
It's weird because like they, you know, like people in New Orleans will go and eat hard shell crabs all day long. I did a pasta once where literally we just tossed the whole hard shell crab in the pasta to get the flavor, and like people were pissed. We got all these negative Yelp reviews because they found shell in their pasta, and it's like, dude.
People suck. Like, I don't know what to say.
And like I had to change the dish. So then we ended up like we would put the crab in the sauce, cook it in the sauce, then pull the crab body out along with any fucking bits of shell, and then toss with all the flavors, and then like perch the crab back on top.
But I think just getting that perspective to realize how unreasonable like our general public is, and I think again it goes back to how processed everything was, and that became the new standard. You know, we need perspective.
I can't be inconvenienced.
Yeah, you know, it's weird. So. You went to Germany too.
Mm-hmm.
You got paid for that job. You were working at a hotel.
The Germans pay me real well.
Yeah. Any key
I had
experiences?
I had a nice apartment. I had a car.
Nice.
Like I wasn't gonna leave Germany.
Right.
Hurricane Katrina hit and I came home. But my chef in Germany was and still is a great guy. He had his flaws. I mean, he liked to yell and scream. He one time came at me with a wooden spoon, and I was like, absolutely not.
You know, I wrestled, right?
Like we're not gonna do this. Like you can threaten all your little interns, but you're not. And I fucked up. I fucked up a dessert because they made me the pastry chef for a while because the pastry chef quit, and I made a sorbet for a private event. A champagne sorbet, and I didn't know enough about the alcohol levels and everything, and so the top of the sorbet looked great, and we checked it, and then when the party happened, the entire bottom was liquid alcohol. Ooh. And so I was like 3 orders too short, and so I had to like give like 3 people just the shitty like lemon sorbet that we had.
Yeah.
And he was pissed.
He came at you with the spoon.
And he came at me, and I was like, no. I'm like,
well,
I was like, chef, I fucked up. It'll never happen again. I'm so sorry. Just it'll never happen again. He's like, okay. And, but he was also like, I became like his traveling buddy. Like he would do events because he's kind of like industry famous. He's not really a lot of famous chefs come and eat at his restaurant because he still does everything the old school way. Like he never really changed over to doing like really modern cuisine.
Okay.
He still does very traditional Hochschwarzwald cuisine, which is the high black forest.
Okay.
And so a lot of great chefs come there to eat his very traditional food. And so we would go do all these events, and I'd drive with him. I'd be his driver. Like he'd drive there and I'd drive back kind of thing. And, so he and I became really good friends. And he was going to let me stay. I wasn't going to leave. And then Katrina hit. And so I was like, I got to go.
Yeah.
Because by the end, I was one of the few people that actually learned German. So by the end, I was the expediter. I was expediting in German and running the kitchen if he wasn't in there.
So what was the biggest impression this experience in Germany? If there was one lesson that you were able to hang on to, maybe it's not so obvious, but
I think, it's just being in Europe. It's being able to go to those, because even like we try to do these markets, but it's not like European markets.
Yeah.
California probably comes the closest with its markets every day. Like you can go to like when you're up in Napa and in Sonoma and all those places, and but every little town in Europe, they've been doing the market like that for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And you just go there and you find, and like I finally got to leave the country again recently. I went to Denmark. I got to go to Noma. And I just, God, I hadn't, and that we just walked the market that day. And I'm like, God, if I miss this, like you can get anything you want in these markets. And it's not some show to put on. Like it's just, they just do it. They've been doing it forever.
Yeah.
And it's an appreciation and a love for food.
And listening to you talk about these markets, I can't help but think of my 5 months in Thailand, where just every other day there's a staple market, and that there's always a market to find. And like, people base their lives around these markets, and and everybody goes, and it's kind of like a fair. You know, like a
bazaar,
like a weekly fair that that just keeps coming up, and I don't know why we don't do that here. Like, why don't we?
It's hot outside.
It's hot in Thailand, man. Like
that's different. They're used to it.
Yeah, that's true. I hear you. But there's so much.
I'm making fun of us as a culture.
Yeah,
it's hot outside. We don't want to.
We have wild. There's air conditioning, right?
Right.
Not
you know.
Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed today's video, please like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. And don't forget, there's a complete archive of every episode at restaurantunstoppable.com. Peace.